There we are.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
I only say morning because it's morning and it's the morning laugh. So
That's right.
I
I'd
was
like
gonna
to
say,
change the name of our show, by the way, to Afternoon Laugh.
what about just laugh?
It's we're committed to less committed to a time that way. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think you're right.
So, what's
So,
new with you this week, Brian?
well, I was very tired this morning, so I woke up and then I went back to sleep. So that's where we
What time
currently
did you initially wake up?
6. Yeah, I think 6 o'clock. Then chatted with the old ball and chain, and then yeah, I was super tired because I got home late last night. There was an open mic last night, and chaos ensues. Next thing you know, I'm home late, so editing the open mic as we speak. Yeah, so
I've had trouble sleeping lately. I normally don't have any trouble. I usually fall asleep immediately, and I sleep usually 7 or 8 hours, pretty consistently. But I don't know why lately I've been stressing on a bunch of different little things, and so at night I can block that out because I'm conscious enough to be able to say, okay, think about something else. Don't worry about that for now.
sure.
But for some reason, I'll wake up like at 6 in the morning, and those thoughts start going through my head, and I'm too mentally weak to block those out. So I'm
Yeah,
just like obsessed, so I can't fall back asleep.
but do you wake up like,
No,
or
no,
you
no.
know? Okay,
I wake up more like this. Ah, crap.
yeah, I do that a lot. I do this wake up. Oh no,
That's life.
you do what you have to. I've been cleaning my office lately, and so things are moved out of place. Move that camera. There you go. See everything behind me completely
Yeah,
cleaned out. I got nothing on my shelves.
it's true.
It's too clean.
It looks fake.
It does look fake. That's a skull right there. That's a Dan Aykroyd's
Is that a tequila bottle?
tequila bottle,
Yeah.
which I told my son I would like to try. All right, it's vodka, I think. Anyways, he brought me home an empty. Kids, you know what I mean? They turn 21, they want alcohol. They don't want alcohol. My son's a bartender, so don't think everyone who's watching don't think my son's got a problem. He's a bartender now.
Well,
anyway,
I tonight or not? Yeah, tonight
I was
I'm
gonna
going to
say
be.
tonight's a big night for you, Mike.
I'm judging the world. No, the funniest
Funniest
comedian
person,
in the universe.
no, funniest
Funniest
person in the universe.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
You need
Funniest
not
person in
be
the
a
universe.
comedian to apply.
You don't need to be.
Yeah, it is round one. It is exciting time to be alive. I had somewhere in my persons, I had the actual list of who was participating. Anybody would know. But you will be a judge along with some of our fine customers from the club. Wonderful people, the Garcias, will be judging,
Oh,
and
good.
and another judge too. So it's going to be good. Yeah, so chaos for me behind the scenes while you're all eating a free burger and doing your thing. So it's gonna be fun.
It's just not that many people watching this would care, but it's a cool way that he has set up this contest. Comedy contests are very difficult to pull off and have them feel fair and equal. But this one is kind of cool because the audience gets to vote, but that counts. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's 25% of the vote.
Correct. So
And
four
then,
judges,
and
and the audience only counts a
right.
quarter of
The audience is one judge, and then there's a industry
comedian,
judge,
an industry judge,
uh,
a working comedian,
yeah,
and then what we like to call just a regular person, a regular Joe.
a fan,
What's that term you military people use for the rest of the
Cillian.
world? Civilians, sure.
Yeah.
Non sequiturs, whatever they call them. I can't remember the word I'm looking for. Anyways, that's how it works. That's breakdown. So judge, audience as an accumulative, and then that's how it works. So
Right.
So it is very fair. So like, let's say Mike, let's say you were competing, Mike, and then you brought the entire room, and then they voted for you like other contests. unfair. You weren't the funniest one. You win because the audience. You brought the whole audience. See, we don't do. We're all about fairness.
Or on the other hand, there's some that are just judges, and the judges have particular styles or things they like. So this actually is very fair the way they do it.
Hmm. Yeah. Tom's figured out a good method of doing this, and I think it's very fair. So, yeah. So looking forward to that tonight. Kicks off. We've got 6 rounds, 6 rounds. Then the semis, and then the final will take place in December. So this will be a journey for all of us. So I will be there for each one, and it'll be good. You're not, obviously, everyone. Mike's not judging all of them.
No, this round.
Just the one. You may end up judging another one, I would assume, down the road.
Yeah, maybe. I've done it before. It's a fun experience to watch these guys try and do it. It's different. And for some reason,
I'll tell you what. Here's where it's not fun. It's not fun when they're horrible, and you leave the judges' table and come walk over to me in the DJ booth and want to talk to me about what's happening on stage. That I have to go. No. You go back to your seat. We can talk later, but you go. Yeah. Don't judge in the middle of it.
When I go over to the sound booth where you're at, and just go, what is with this guy?
There was talk about we were shy a judge, but we have another one, but we were shy a judge there for a little bit, and then somebody said something like, "Well, will you judge?" I'm like, No. First of all, no employees judge. We don't do that. And secondly, I'm running the times. You know, if you run the time, automatically you're out in my. You could be the funniest person, but if you disobey,
then if you can't follow the simple rules,
that's right. Then I'm petty, is what I'm saying. I did well. This happened a few years ago, and I do believe I sent the core group of us a photograph of this. But there was a comic who, they get 5 minutes. I lit him with 1 minute, and he shot me the dirtiest look I've ever seen in my entire life because he believed that I lit him early. And I was like, did I just see what I thought I saw looking at me? And then when he finished, he pulled the host aside and had a conversation with him in his ear, and of which the host pulled away and did this look, which is, you know something's wrong. And then boom, right? Anyways, turns out to find out, he thought I lit him early and everything else like that. But you know what? I'm trying to forgive.
So, Brian, I have a special guest.
Okay.
And you're going to get to guess who the guest is. We're going to play a quick game of Guess the Guest.
Okay, because I'm wrong all the time. But let's do it.
So, Brian, here is your hint.
Granted, we've only done this once, and I was wrong then too. So, anyways, that's why I'm wrong all the time.
We've had special guests, but we've never done the hints.
Okay.
The guest part of it. Okay, so here you go. This person is non-athletic.
Rona Barrett. Oh wait, she's dead.
Close.
Keep going.
Keep narrowing it down. Let's see what else. Born in Minnesota, land of the Vikings, which you're so fond of.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you getting any? Are you starting to get any idea at all?
So wait, what was the first clue again?
Just non-athletic.
Non-athletic.
Born in Minnesota. So this is not really narrowing down. A very dry sense of humor.
Dry sense of humor. Oof.
This person was a cashier at Kmart. That gives you an idea of the age range.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a couple other little hints.
Please.
You and I have quoted this person many times.
I made a mistake. Last time you did this, I guessed wrong, and I didn't live it down. So still not willing to make a guess at this moment. It's great that we quote them all the time. I'm sure we'll probably quote them several times.
Yeah, it's somebody we've quoted many times.
Oh my gosh.
And let's see, what else can I say? He's a very sexual being. Welcome to the stage, everybody. David Franco. I knew that last hint would give it right away.
David, my favorite. Oh my gosh, we can quote you all the time, man. We'd be lying if we said we didn't.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, so good to see you. I thought about you the other day. Because
Oh,
we had,
good.
I got one of my. So for those of you watching, David's a comedian. David. We first met you because Mike and I were teaching a class over at what was it?
Tempe Improv. No, Stand Up Live.
Stand Up Live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then years later, you took a class from me, and so, but I've got a current class going right now that's just really a lot of fun, and it reminded me of the last time when you were in class. That class was a lot of fun too. But
Cool.
But how are you, David?
Oh, not bad. It's good to see you both again. It's been a little while, and
It has. Been keeping busy?
yeah, just I've been doing some short clips on TikTok and stuff, and well, we still have access to it,
Right.
And just I'm going to help out at the post office this year for the holidays, doing packages and stuff. So not too busy, but not too bad either. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
David, what's your TikTok handle so people can find you?
Oh, I think it's just David Van Winkle 2. The real original.
David Van Winkle 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to go check him out.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that you were. Are you from Minnesota originally?
Originally, Albert Lee. So,
Okay.
big
If I do that.
Brian, I do my research, Brian.
I know you do. I mean, the Kmart thing was a deep dive. I never do that. So
No, never know that.
I thought that was a good hint because it kind of gives you, to me, I feel like it gives you an idea of the age range.
Mhm.
By the way, do you know the last Kmart on Earth is closing this week?
Really?
Yeah.
I read that
Florida.
the other day. In Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the one next door to the last Blockbuster.
It's between Blockbuster and Radio Shack.
Okay. All right.
Now they can do a movie about it,
There you go. Although don't go harsh on Radio Shack because it's back.
But isn't it now just like Radio Shack inside other stores? And it's
It feels like it's just a little kiosk.
it's a section. It's an aisle.
I think they're inside every other Starbucks.
Yeah.
And it's really just USB cables.
Every once in a while you miss it though, it's like
Oh, tell me about it. Especially being somebody who's in production, every once in a while it's just like I just need a connector. Oh, I got to drive all the way to Guitar Center. That's pretty.
It's like Ace Hardware is to things because you could go to a bigger place to get what you need that you get. But Radio Shack used to be everywhere.
Yeah,
it's like Ace Hardware. I'd way rather go to the Ace Hardware a couple blocks away. They're likely going to have it now. Good chance they won't, and I have to go to Home Depot or a big store. But
yeah. The only good thing now is like Amazon in a pinch with next day delivery if you can wait. But a lot of the other times, it's like Best Buy is not always the best.
No. Best Buy doesn't usually have what you really want.
No, they're not the best.
So David, have you been doing stand-up?
Just mainly online clips and silly stuff.
Just doing like sketch stuff online and that sort of thing?
Yeah, maybe a few open mics here and there, but I should. I still write, so
Yeah.
I got a lot in the queue, so to speak. So
all right.
I'm a little too lazy sometimes, which is not a good thing.
Well, that's what makes you a comic.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what makes you a successful comic.
No.
I believe the last time I heard this joke quoted from Brian was at your class, Brian, like 2 weeks ago. And it's a joke you did. I've told you this before, David, but there's a joke you did a long time ago in our class. And again, for those of you watching, we first met David because he was taking a class from us downtown. And this was years and years ago. And but you had a lot of really funny stuff. I loved your comedy. Your delivery and everything I thought was great. But there was one joke in particular I just thought for some reason it just killed me. And we've quoted it many times. And Brian did it the other day about the cat and the toilet paper.
Oh no.
I'm not even going to try to do it here because I can't do it justice.
It was funny. A few minutes ago, I was laughing. That's what I was laughing at. I was thinking about the cat joke.
Yeah.
Just casual observation turns into a joke,
The funny thing is, so usually, when somebody takes my class, right? So they go up, they do their time, and then I make my notes of what the jokes are that I want to comment on, or the ones that I like, or whatever, it is. I know the last time you took the class, David, I just remember I was frantically writing down like everything because I was liking everything so much and I wanted to make sure I could comment. But I was laughing. I would say every class I was laughing very hard at every set that you put together.
Well, I come to the class and I've written so much that I just like want to test all these and get a professional opinion.
You're a writing machine, though. I mean, I'm jealous of that.
Thanks. Just things pop up every day, and it's like I'm better at not like I'm jotting it down, than before I lose it. So
yeah,
and
that's the way to do it.
One little thought can turn into a great big whole thing. It's like you just exaggerate and push it.
Or it's as simple as looking at your cat.
We actually had pretty decent performers in that class. Everybody, not well. I can not use names, I guess. So all but one, I thought, hey, you could do something with this. And the one I'm thinking that wasn't so great was the one that had the most confidence and thought he was great.
That's usually
Blake,
the thing.
Blake City was another one that was in that class. I still keep in touch with him.
Blake. Blake.
Very
simple. Yeah.
What was the gal's name? I can't remember her name.
The young girl. The young girl with the horse.
Yeah.
I know who you mean. I just can't.
I can't remember her name, but I felt like she had the ability. She just didn't seem to care that much about it.
Yeah.
She kind of dismissed it all, but and I think she only performed that one time, maybe a couple more.
Well, she was she was a specialist in the horse industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extraction, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And there was another fellow in that class. I honestly don't remember his name. If I did, I wouldn't be able to mention it because he's the one that he had a lot of confidence and for some reason a lot of anger. All his bits were really caustic, angry about something or somebody, usually celebrities. I remember asking him in that class, why are you so upset about this person?
Why are you so upset?
Like,
yeah,
what is
exactly.
going on?
Yeah.
No, they just thought it was funny to just rail against somebody.
There was that time period, Mike, if you recall, a lot of those classes, people were very angry at the Kardashians.
Yeah, he was.
For some reason, everyone was angry at the Kardashians.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was there.
I will say this though, I find what's interesting about classes, you have the guys who come in who are just very like proud, chest is out. I got a lot to say. I got a lot of opinions. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to speak so raw and all that. And then that's exactly it. They're very angry with no real perspective and no. It's just like the sentence right now. There's no where's it going. And then you have like somebody like David that comes in who is just kind of just hi guys, very nice, kind of shy almost to the point, and then goes up with material that just is absolutely like hilarious. You're like, where has this guy been hiding the whole time? So something to be said about
helps, but if you don't have it, you don't have it, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I remember. I've been. For a long time, David, you'd pop up here and there, like some of the open mics or some of the other showcase things or whatever they were. And on the rare occasion that I happened to be in the room at whatever club it was, and all of a sudden I saw you, I thought, oh, good, this will be fun. And it always was. Your comedy is just so easy to listen. Even if it's something that I can tell, okay, you're still working on this. Still, it was just fun to watch. Having seen enough open mics and enough amateur shows over the years, usually everybody that walks on stage, or not everybody, but 80 to 90% of them is like just this is so bad. But you even from the beginning, your stuff was just fresh, and I don't know what it was, just a great casual observation, like you said, of just normal life.
Well, I had two of the best teachers right here. I mean, you guys cut right to the. No, honestly, you cut out. You can read books and books and books, and you kind of tailor it to what the person will do well at. And I really appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you saying that too, because I think the most important thing is you just can't be putting out cookie cutter comics. And that just doesn't work,
No.
And I think you can, without naming names, present or past, there are certain comedy classes or things that you can take, and for many years, Brian and I have made the observation of you can tell they came from that class, and it's because the class had such an impact on the way they were funny, which I think is a shame because you're saying is to be able to cultivate that person's unique style and sense of humor is much more important than trying to make them fit. Like, this is how a joke has to be structured. This is how you have to stand. This is, all these rules.
Yeah. Bridging the gap. And I mean, you saved me countless time going to Mike's and trying to figure this out myself. I mean, I can't even imagine. I was probably giving up, honestly. So.
Well, thank you for not giving up, because that's like, again, you've got great stuff. And to be honest, this is an intervention for you, David. You need to get out more.
I will take that feedback, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, so many people are so anxious to get on stage and try it, where they don't actually kind of really sit back and do the writing and do the work, figure it out, practice it at home, so that they actually do present the joke properly when they go out. And it's a shame, because, like, again, I saw open mic last night, and it was, for the most part, pretty lackluster. I mean, you could tell when staff is just like, "Who is your favorite?" They're like, "Oh." I mean, if you're not getting the staff's attention, that says something too. But
you want to see always that growth. It's like, if they're first time, no problem. It's gonna be challenging, but I wanted to see some progress, and you both helped me with that, and I'd like to see some other people take advantage of that too.
Yeah. It's always nice to see, and this isn't like a boastful, bragful thing that I'm trying to say right now, but when you see people that took the class and that are still going, that's just great. Makes you feel good, and it's not a prideful thing, because, to be honest, anything that everybody does outside of class, that's them. Even if, like, they say thank you, it's just like, no, that's you on stage. You're doing all of that. I just was, Mike and I can step, next to you for a little bit and kind of just guide you, and then it's on them to do everything else after that. And everybody, it's just great to see people that at least, continuing to strive and to get better and to get better. So it's nice to see everybody move on afterwards. So
it could be a very subtle change that could be really helpful. I don't have a great example of that, but I mean, just the basics sometimes.
But you did great. I mean, your first set was good. And again, Mike and I still quoting jokes of yours from that time period. But from that time to the next time I saw you, I mean, all these, leaps in time. And then, like, the last time when you took the class, I mean, out of the gate, you were like solid. I was like, man, these are, because you're putting the work in. So it's good to see.
Thank you. That gap, when you do the setup, making that setup crystal clear, and then the punch, I still struggle getting that gap right, but
sure.
Hey, that's got to do.
That's always the trick. I always feel like between the setup and the punch, however you have that structured out, but to not make it so you're explaining the joke through it. So there's a gap, but not such a big gap that people aren't catching on or getting what you're trying to illustrate. So that's the thing. So we're going to quickly go through a version of what you're watching. Brian, what are you watching?
I've been watching this HBO documentary series called The Murders on Elm Street, I think it is.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't watch the thing. I saw that.
A variety of murders that have happened on real Elm Streets around the country, which it's a happy film. It's just like, this is what I do when I work out. This is what I watch. So, so that's been kind of as of late. And then recently, in the last few days, my daughter has been binge watching Abbott Elementary. And I remember watching the first few episodes, but it was on a night that I wasn't normally home. But I'm getting really, I like that show a lot. I'm really getting hook, line, and sinker into it. So I'm really enjoying watching that. So it's like The Office in school. So it's very funny. Cast is great.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple episodes of that.
Yeah, the cast is really good. Really good. It's very funny. Well written.
I'm still kind of hitting every once in a while. Very easy to watch 20 minutes at a time of Cheers or Taxi. And there's so many episodes of that. There's several of them that as it gets started, I'm going to skip over this one because it just doesn't seem interesting. But for the most part, they're pretty good. But I started watching a documentary on Mr. McMahon. Have you seen this?
No.
It's the guy from World Wrestling Federation, all that stuff.
Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon, yeah. And it's a documentary of him. It's funny because at the very beginning, they say, just so you know, these interviews, there was a big scandal with him recently. And all of these interviews have been done prior to that scandal. I know that the end of the documentary, which I'm not at yet, kind of illuminates the rest of the story with that. But it's an interesting story between him and Ted Turner and that competition. I've never been a big fan of wrestling. I mean, when I was a little kid, back in the day, they used to have if you wanted to watch professional wrestling, it was only Andre the Giant or whoever it was would come into your town and put on a match, and they'd broadcast it on local TV. That was it. There was no big national movement or anything like that. That's how I got introduced to it when I was young, and I thought it was fun. And it was usually some weird, crazy, like Andre the Giant versus 7 midgets or whatever. That's what they would do. It was always some weird, crazy thing like that. And
or Steve the plumber.
Yeah. Or you go up and compete. Yeah.
Steve the plumber Rotanovich.
And so
always a full name.
When they used to call it big time wrestling. Where was that? I don't remember. Was that a brand? Anyway,
could have been a regional.
Big time wrestling. When that all started to become a bigger thing, it was all of that changed, obviously. But Andre the Giant was still there for a long time. Of course, Hulk Hogan brought it up to big prominence and all that stuff. Yeah. So a lot of what happened later, and this is just recapping it all, it became more of a soap opera style show. So every character had a big storyline behind them and their rivalries and all. It's kind of smart. If you've ever watched those big tractor pull shows or big arena shows with the tractors, it's exact same formula.
Yeah.
It's all formulaic. They know what's going to happen. I mean, it's still dangerous. And they're still having to go through all of this. But in fact, some of them have the same characters in them.
Yeah. Well, it's a little Ford versus Chevy is a little more generic, but yes.
Yeah. But they do. I mean, they have like the Undertaker as one of the trucks to match the wrestler or whatever. Anyway, so all of that. But then in the meantime, in the background, some of these things were actually real problems. The rivalries and stuff.
Well, I think too, and it's not that I don't think it's been brought up a whole lot, is that, just like football players getting concussions and all that stuff. I mean, health issues for wrestlers down the road, regardless of what anybody's opinion is of wrestling. I mean, these guys are athletes. They're still out there doing their thing and getting really messed up, some of them at times. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, that movie, The Wrestler, is kind of it's an inside peek of what that world's probably like. Yeah. Got to be rough, especially on the lower circuits. I mean, talk about being a comic on the lower end. Well, imagine being a wrestler.
I tried to start watching Chimp Crazy because you recommended it, Brian, I think a week or two ago. So I'm going to watch it. I just haven't. For some reason, I got into this McMahon documentary. I got to wrap that up first. How about you, David? What are you watching? What's something you like to watch on television or movies?
I was doing a lot of like crime documentaries and stuff, but it got too depressing after a while. So now I kind of enjoy that show on Hulu, The Bear, the restaurant industry.
Oh, yeah.
The Bear, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me because I've never done anything in that area.
So I've been told by so many people that I would enjoy that show, but it's the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Well, restaurant. Yeah, okay. Mostly.
That actor... What is it, Jeremy Allen White, I think his name is. He
I don't need to know his color, Mike. I don't know what that's about.
He was on what was it? It was a Showtime show. I can't think of the name of it now. It was a great show.
Shameless,
yeah.
That's the only show I know you've ever watched on
on
Showtime.
That's the only Showtime series I ever watched. I think
if it's not William H. Macy, then who knows? Who knows who it could be?
And William H. Macy, that's when first episode of that show, William H. Macy just stole the whole thing, and I thought, man, this show's great. And I watched it for few seasons. It got a little dark and crazy for me, but that kid, Jeremy Allen White, he's really good in it. I did see an episode of The Bear, and it looked really good. So I think, are you enjoying it?
I am. I mean, it's all the dynamics between people that work there and the craziness that goes on. And, you know, I can't relate, but I enjoy. I'm learning, you know, and they all got tempers, and that's kind of fun to see too. You know, it's like but they love each other, and maybe I'll do a restaurant job someday.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I watched a quick little video, like a 50-minute video about Gordon Ramsay and I can't remember the name, but his mentor and how they eventually had this big falling out and all that stuff. Gordon Ramsay's an interesting character. Not a big fan of his personally, just because I see the way he treats people for the benefit of entertainment.
My favorite thing with Gordon Ramsay though is when they take the kids version of his show, and edit in the comments from the other show with him, so it looks like he's yelling at
That's great.
Like yelling at the children. It's like, this is irresponsible. Watching the kids are just like, that's
something about
really
that
funny to me.
That's funny. I haven't seen that.
Enjoyable, yeah.
No, David, I would say I go down that true crime story thing a little too often myself, and like I said, I'm watching that Elm Street murder thing, and then after a while, you're like, I need to do something good for myself right now, you know, because it's just, there's a series right now on HBO, I believe. I watch HBO Max a lot, or Max, you know, which is my flaw. I mean, I pay for, that's the really only thing I pay for that I want in this house. So, but there's one, How Not to Get Rid of a Body. And that's the one I'm like, I don't think I want to watch this one, because I know it's just going to be botched vats of acid or something, you know, it's just going to be bad.
Plus, it's now in your watch history also, which I feel like
I haven't clicked on it yet, so I just keep hovering over it and then keep going. It's just like, it just seems like I feel like sometimes, and back me up on this, David. Do you feel like too much of this is educating the whack jobs out there?
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
Try that one.
I mean, you know, they're telling the secrets how they end up getting caught, and it's like,
it's like when Geraldo would go, you know, out in front of where the troops were going to be, or they reveal stuff like that, which is kind of a kickback to Geraldo and the wrestling. I did love it when he got punched in the face.
Well, he took a chair to the face.
Oh, that's what it was. They smacked him with a chair. Yeah.
Which brings us back to Rona Barrett.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so much content out there to watch. Somebody's got to tell you what you should check out, because it's overwhelming.
It's too much. That's one thing I talk about in class, because we were talking about, you know, just subject matters of TV shows, or like if you do an impression or something like that. There's no way, you know, the three of us are of an age where there were 3 channels plus PBS. Everyone always forgets PBS. But
you're not even tapping into the UHF market here, Brian.
I know. Believe me, I know. But with that, believe me, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. Anyways, but no, I mean, if you watched Happy Days, the majority of America watched Happy Days with you, so they know the show. They know the characters, and so if you referenced it or you did an impression of the Fonz or whatever it might be, the whole world knows it. If you go off on like saying, I was watching Ghost Hunters yesterday, half the people, more than half, don't know what you're talking about. You got to explain it. Or if there's a person on that show, you do their voice. Nobody cares. You know, like one person in the audience might be like, that was pretty good. You know, it's very rough now to even actors. I mean, if I have to hear, I mean, it's always Schwarzenegger and Christopher Walken, and now everybody's trying to do Timothy Chalamet. No, I'm kidding. I mean, but you know what I mean? Who does a Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah.
Nobody.
It's Trump now. Everybody does Trump.
Yeah. Politics is like the only. Yeah, it's the only thing to talk about.
But you're right. Back during Happy Days, the next day at school, everybody saw it. But most of the nation watched that episode of that show that one time, because it wasn't on repeat. You couldn't stream it. You couldn't just watch it when you want it. If you watched it, you had to watch it at 7 p.m. on Thursday or whatever it was. And today, the most popular shows in the world get a tiny fraction of that viewership. Tiny.
Yeah.
They're making money. Yeah, like crazy.
Because there's so many options. There's so many alternatives.
That's a perfect example too. I mean, you have Mike watching Taxi, and then you have David watching The Bear.
I'll watch Taxi. Like last night, I watched Taxi. This morning at school, nobody else watched it. I couldn't relate to anybody else in my class.
Yeah. And so then at lunch, when you're trading your lasagna for a tuna casserole, for what? I don't even want to trade it with this guy because he didn't watch it.
What rich school district did you belong to? Lasagna and tuna casserole. Gee whiz.
No, I love those old shows too. The Golden Girls, one of my favorites. They hold up. The humor today. Frasier, still.
Yeah.
The writing, the acting was just awesome. You know.
Has anybody watched the new Frasier?
I have not. I've heard bad things about it. And I love Frasier and I've watched it many times. I don't want to spoil that for myself by watching it.
I think what the problem I had with it is that on the old show, it just seemed, I don't know, the apartment, all that stuff was very larger than life. And the new one, everything feels like a set. I feel like I'm not watching Frasier's life. I'm watching a sitcom about Frasier. It's kind of weird. I can't describe what I'm saying, but it doesn't
city
feel
are
organic.
They in now? Is it Seattle?
He's back in Boston, I think.
Oh, okay.
And there's no Niles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of it. People.
I can't live without hearing the phrase, "For God's sake, Niles." That's what made the show to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Seinfeld without Kramer, almost. You know,
or George.
That was a huge part of that show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The dynamics, they're so good.
Yeah, because nobody wants to watch Jerry going, "Walter, stop barging in here." Oh, we hate Walter. Who's Walter?
Yeah.
Seinfeld again. That would be the crappy names. Remember in the 80s, they try to do something, and that's always the name of the movie would be Seinfeld again. Or
do they have a Niles alternative in the new one? Do you know, like somebody that's similar to his character that you can play off of?
Like I said, I haven't really seen it. I mean, they're focusing on the relationship with him and his son, and
right.
and then I know there's some colleagues of his. The one guy just from the commercials I've seen looks a lot like a cross between the dad and Niles. You know, just if you're flipping, you're like, oh, is that the dad? I thought he passed away. Oh no, it's another guy.
Oh, right. Well, you can't. If this isn't the 70s, it's not Bewitched where you can just flip flop actors.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember Tim Allen's show, Last Man Standing?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've just now, because syndication, I've been watching that more. Yeah, when they flip networks. It was a few years in between, so the daughters have changed, By the way, Reba's got a new show coming out on NBC with almost the same cast from the original show. Wow. Yeah, Reba McEntire.
Wow.
But it's a different show with her playing a different character named Reba, apparently. But the girl from the show's on it too. It just seems like, remember when I Love Lucy used to have like, I never knew this until I was older, but all the other I Love Lucy spinoffs with Fred and Ethel and all of them, they were like old. I mean, I remember when Nick at Night or something, my parents would watch it. I'm like, what are you watching? Like, what episode of Lucy is this? Where they're all like old.
Yeah, because she later had a show with her daughter in it and everybody.
Yeah. Here's Lucy, I think.
Yeah. Or the Lucille Ball show.
Do you guys remember the show she did in the 80s, late 80s? It was her and the guy who played
Rescue from Gilligan's Island. Was it that one?
Yeah. No, it was Lucy, and then the guy who played Mr. Mooney was on it too. They were both still alive. But the funniest joke I heard was Bobcat Goldthwait was talking about Lucy's got a new show. I don't need to see her standing on a step ladder. Get off that step ladder, Lucy. I don't want to see. This isn't funny at all. It's like, that's exactly it. It was weird. It was her like as an old woman standing about this thing. It's just like, oh no.
Yeah, you don't want to see an 85-year-old stuffing chocolates in their mouth.
Yeah.
No.
It'd only be good if it was live.
Oh.
Like, Mr. Mooney. We'll be back right after this. Like, Lucy will not be back.
Wheel in the gurney. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. They don't make them like they used to, but yeah, to have that kind of fame on television anymore, where everybody's watching you, pretty rare. And anytime anybody brings up a show on stage, I'm just like, better be good, because nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Bigfoot shows is the only one. Finding Bigfoot, I hear that one all the time. Guess what? They never find him. But
you have to be a very long-term celebrity for people to be able to hit a pop culture level where most people know what you're talking about. Like Kim Kardashian, she's been around long enough in the spotlight of pop culture long enough. People may not even know who she is or what she looks like, but they recognize that name and kind of a perception around that. But nowadays, so many of it is just online influencers, and it's weird because you'll have this group. Of course, everybody knows who this person is until you get out of your circle of people, whether it's your age or whatever demographic that cross section hits. Then nobody knows who you're talking about.
I think what's interesting about the Kardashians is that you have the family, right? And then everything that was going on with Mr. Jenner at the time, and then Mrs. Jenner lately. I don't know how this is all working, but anyways, then as each girl became popular in her own right, it was almost like all these weird spin-off series of not them having actual shows, but in real life, Kim was the thing, and then it was Chloe, and then it was I'm ashamed I know two of the names already, and then the next one. But for each age, there's a different one for the next generation that kind of knows there's a Kardashian for every century. Is what's going to end up happening.
Yeah. Marketing geniuses, really. I mean,
yeah. But a lot of that's typically scandal driven. Something's gone on. They did something wrong.
Well, that's their whole thing, right? It's entertainment television. So when the Kardashians came out, they had, and I was watching something about this also. Also, Brian, and I know through my son Austin working in reality TV and how that works. This stuff is all produced and scripted, and let's put these two conflicting interests together because that'll create compelling television. It's not natural at all. But they were able to do that, of course, on the Kardashians, and 90% of it is just made up drama. But people watch that and think, first of all, they watch it and they think it's real. But second of all, there are a lot of people that think, I want to be that person and live that life. So they create fake drama in their own lives to match what they've seen on television. It's crazy. I know somebody who's done that very unhealthily. And it's like, you don't understand. People are watching this because they're laughing at them. They think this person's crazy. They're not watching it in adoration like you are.
Yeah. It's funny though, when you look at the Kardashians in general, that with everything that they've been through, that family and everything else, that somehow Caitlyn turns out to be the tamest one at this point.
Yeah, really.
You never hear anymore.
So, Rob,
boy, this show's hit an all-time low now.
It is.
Talking about the Kardashians.
Well, they run their business on Instagram, I guess now, just posting with products that
$1 million industry. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that Henry Winkler could be doing that, but he's not.
No.
Hello, fellas. Do you have wrinkles? It's the Arthur Fondarelli eye cream. I want that.
Yeah. The ones I love are like the reverse mortgages. It's like, here, this is going to help you. Really?
Yeah, exactly. Pull the money out of your house now.
Be
Leave
careful.
nothing for your kid.
Yeah.
Screw them.
No, you don't need the money to tell people this.
But that is actually the reverse mortgage thing is where celebrities go to reinvent their careers.
I guess.
So infomercial world for sure.
I feel like
Vivica A. Fox is trying to get me an extended warranty on my car.
Oh yeah, those too. I think the fighter George Foreman did that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
you can't just sell grills your whole life.
You can't what?
You can't sell grills your entire life.
Yeah. No. I love when I see old celebrities pitching something on television that just doesn't really match. Or remember Eric Estrada doing timeshares? You ever see that old commercial? It was.
No, but I mean, now.
It was. This was probably 10 years ago, maybe. But nobody knows Eric Estrada anymore at all. And all of a sudden, I saw him. I thought, that looks like Eric Estrada. And sure enough, his name pops up. That's Eric Estrada selling timeshares.
You can't go too old though. You can't be like, hey, I'm Billy Mummy, and I want to sell you. Like, people are like, who?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I feel like we can't move too much further without a moment of silence for James Earl Jones. All right, that's good.
Okay.
Worldwide pets.
Yes,
that's what I thought of when he died, not Darth Vader. The end of Letterman.
Was that? I think you told me that. Yeah, that was Worldwide Pants voice. Yeah,
because you'd hear it every night. I'd watch Letterman every night, and then Worldwide Pets, and I would just go James Earl Jones. So.
They claim he never met the other actors from Star Wars during the filming of it. They did eventually would meet some of them, but it was never there for any of the filming. It was all voiceover, obviously. If you've ever seen clips of the original take of that before they did the voiceover, it's another guy. He's got a very soft voice. It's like the complete opposite.
Yeah. It's like, hey guys,
we're
gonna go down that planet and we're gonna rock them and we're gonna sock them. It was like a whole Rudy speech. It was like, what are you doing? It's like weird.
The voice just does not match at all.
But the special effects for the day were amazing. I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching. Speaking of that, I was watching 2001: A Space Odyssey. Well, I was trying to watch it. I kept falling asleep. Anyway.
Yeah, that is a slow-moving movie.
I mean, I know it's a classic, but but those effects are really stunning. I mean, the first shot. I mean, it's like, wow, this is really, really well done. I mean, that's what, 68, I think,
something like that
when that came out. So
it was later than that, wasn't it?
No,
wasn't that because I remember, and I was born in '64, but I do remember that movie.
Yeah, the only reason I think it's 68 is because that was the year I was born.
Oh,
1968, correct.
Wow.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
You want to know who was assassinated when the year I was born? A lot of people.
Oh.
Martin Luther King, ring a bell.
Yeah.
And one Kennedy. But it's okay. Hey Jude was #1 in the country when I was born. Yeah, a song about it's okay, kid.
Have you ever watched, speaking of classic movies, the Caine Mutiny, all these things that were such great movies, you watch them today and the standard has definitely changed. I mean, it's a good movie. It's interesting. It's a little long and drawn, like Caine Mutiny in specific. It's a little long and drawn out, and it's not, it would never survive today. It's just not good enough. And even the acting, frankly, it's just not as good. Have you ever watched Breakfast at Tiffany's? Either of you?
Mm-hmm. You
have, Dave?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've heard about this movie forever, about how this is a great movie. It's, good acting, all that. And I watch it with the sensibility of, this was a long time ago. This was in the 60s that this was done or whatever. And so I temper it with that, my expectation. But that movie is so risque and so kind of over the top debauchery. It's shocking. The whole movie is basically, I don't know, probably 70% of that movie is a single cocktail party where there's a lot of promiscuity going on. And that's what the movie's about. The movie's about this woman who wants to be promiscuous with powerful and rich guys.
Except Mickey Rooney.
It's not like the love story that you think it is. It's really pretty gross.
Huh.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I thought there were some mental issues going on in the character that weren't revealed. I just was confused. I was like, man, I didn't enjoy it. So.
Like it was Jacob's Ladder at the end. She was like,
yeah.
She was in Vietnam.
It's actually just, if you look back, how movies have this hidden history behind them and canon and all this stuff that's going on. So it turns out Breakfast at Tiffany's is part of Inception. People don't know that. It's one of the doors in one of the buildings of Inception.
Wow.
Well, I think the song is not the song from Breakfast at Tiffany's, the song Breakfast at Tiffany's. So I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's? I think we both kind of liked it. The song even says, meh. So there's a review that was actually put in a song years later. It's funny that you mentioned Caine Mutiny, Mike. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Jose Ferreira. Jose Ferreira's voice is electric in that movie as the lawyer. And that
Yeah.
scene with him at the end where he kind of just gives it to all of them, especially Fred McMurray, because he had it coming, that Fred McMurray. From My Three Sons on, he's had it coming to him. But anyway.
The character is really interesting in that movie for sure.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen?
And again, I think with that, the reason that movie doesn't, in my mind, hold up to today is not because it's not as well done or as good. The acting isn't quite there, but we've evolved. The filmography isn't quite there because but the storytelling of that time was much more paced and patient, and let's build these characters and all of that. And admittedly, I don't have the patience for that anymore because I'm used to these movies that the characters are kind of built real quickly and you just kind of assume you know who they are, and it gets right into a lot of drama. I watched A Few Good Men shortly after that, thinking, oh, I've watched military court scenes, and it's a great movie, but boy, the pacing of it is just 10 times faster.
Yeah. Plus, the other part about Caine Mutiny is just like the young guy, his career getting started, and then the love of his life and the music and all that kind of stuff. All those scenes, aside from the Navy scenes, are just so like of that time period, overly dramatized and perfect, and all that. David, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was going to ask you guys if you've ever seen Das Boot. It's really long, like 3 hours, and but it held me at the edge of my seat almost the whole movie.
What movie was it?
Das Boot?
Das Boot, submarine movie.
Oh, Das Boot. Yeah. I did see that.
That won so many. It was nominated for so many Academy Awards and won so many Academy Awards. And Yernik Prognow, I believe, is the star of that movie. I have not seen it. It is on my list of movies that I do want to see. I just don't have 19 hours to watch it.
Yeah, it's very long.
So it's funny when you think you have to you'll binge watch 900 episodes of one thing, but you can't watch one 3-hour movie. What's wrong with you, Brian?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys ever watched The Great Escape?
I don't know if I've ever. I think maybe I saw it a long time ago.
It's really good too. It's World War II. It's actually what Hogan's Hero was based on.
Right. Well, Hogan's Heroes actually Stalag 19, the movie, is loosely based.
Oh, okay.
Which there's a Clink. There's a Schultz in that movie, but they claim it was just coincidence. Yeah. That's a great movie. Ever see that? William Holden? William Holden's a jerk in that movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Got to see it now. Yeah.
Great Escape was 1963. That shocks me because I thought it was much more recent than that.
Since we're talking about camp movies, what about, remember Victory with Michael Caine and Sylvester Stallone, the soccer movie? Late 70s, early 80s?
No. What was it called?
Victory.
Was Stallone?
Stallone, Michael Caine. Yeah.
Oh.
They were in a prisoner of war camp, and then there's a challenge. Max Van Sydow is the commandant, and then they put together a soccer team to kind of practice against for goodwill, a soccer match between the Americans and that. And then Stallone's been trying to escape the whole time, and Michael Caine's like, this guy's just this weird American guy, and so he's like pleading, please put me on the team, please put me on the team, and he's the one that can kind of get the escape going. It's a very good movie. I'm surprised it's not played more. I found it and watched it, I think, about 2 years ago. Again, very good movie. Very good sports movie, too.
Yeah.
I mean, we all hate Nazis, but when you could add sports to it, now you got something.
I watched several years ago, as part of this, Steve Mazan does a weekly movie review, and he brings other comedians on to do the reviews. So I did with him Guns of Navarone. So we sit together and watch it. That's how he formed it. We'll sit together and watch the movie, and then he does his podcast right afterwards to talk about it. But that's another great movie. Very slow, very paced, but really captivating. You just can't turn away from it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Dirty Dozen, all those guys, Kelly's Heroes, all those war movies seem to be.
Yeah.
I mean, in hindsight, maybe some of them are shorter, but like as a kid, I just remember walking in and out of the room. It's still on. It's still on.
Yeah. That's how Great Escape is, but Great Escape is just so good. Steve McQueen and James Garner and those guys. It was just a great movie. But I want to move on real quick, and we're going to play a quick game, David. This is more for your observation and entertainment.
Sure.
I don't know what we call this game, but this is Mike's Family Trivia. And Brian is very observant. I just have to tell everybody that Brian is very observant. He has met every member of my family a couple of times. I've met. Well, I think every member of your family too, Brian. I'm pretty sure.
I don't have as many members as yours.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I had 7 brothers, and there were 7 of us kids in my family.
7 brides for 7 brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that your family?
And Brian's met everybody. So, but the weird thing about Brian is he remembers so much about everybody. So he will be able to tell people things about my family that I'm like, wow, I can't believe you knew that. In fact, he knows some things I don't, like some birthdays and things that I don't remember. But based on that, I'm going to just demonstrate this.
I feel a lot of pressure coming right now.
This ability. What is my oldest sibling's name, Brian?
Pat.
Wow, that was incorrect.
And his former wife's name was the same as my wife's.
My oldest sibling was Sue, my oldest sister.
Oh,
Pat's
Sue?
Pat's the 3rd one down.
Oh, Pat. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Sorry, I just assumed Pat's your oldest brother.
Yeah, he's my oldest brother. That's right.
Yeah.
But my oldest sibling is my sister Sue.
Sue.
And what is Sue's husband's name?
And it's funny, when you started this game, that's what I was starting to think about, because you've got 2 that are married to similar names.
Yeah,
if not the same name.
Susie and Peggy are both married have the same name.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on it?
I know you know this.
Teresa's married to Brian.
That's right.
What? I want to say, oh man, I'm a little embarrassed right now.
Okay, so Peggy's last name is Martinez.
Martinez, yeah.
And Sue's last name is Whitford.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can see it too, because I'm friends with
Dan.
Yeah. Dan Martinez.
My sister Sue married Dan Whitford, and Peggy married Dan Martinez.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this one then. I think you'll remember this.
My brain's not thoroughly awake.
Peggy and Dan have how many kids?
Peggy and Dan. Hold on, I got mixed up.
They're all girls.
Yeah. Peggy and Dan have 3 girls.
Yeah, that's right. And what are their names?
So that's the one, and the one I know more than the others.
I know you know one of them because she actually started doing stand-up comedy for a little while.
Yeah, that's the one I'm blanking on too. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't have good REM sleep. Peggy,
I'm not going to say anything about what your future holds for you, Brian, but I will say a year ago you would have mailed these. Right
I know I'm not getting Christmas cards from him now. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. It starts with an M.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, I just had it too. I don't remember.
Michelle is the one.
Michelle.
Yeah.
And what's her
name? Older sister. She's the middle.
She's the middle. Yeah. The other one.
Older sister is Janelle.
Janelle?
No, Shani is Teresa's daughter.
Shani's Teresa's daughter, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. So Janelle, Michelle, and Therese are Peggy's kids.
Therese.
So not bad. Not bad. You keep working on it because next week we're going to do the same thing.
All right.
With another branch of my family.
Yeah.
What about my uncle who lives in Albuquerque? What's his name?
Uncle. Oh man, I forgot.
I can't believe you don't know this one.
Oh gosh,
it's
been a rough morning. I know he's married. He's got 2 dogs, and one of them bit you.
Yeah. Well, his dogs didn't. His daughter's dogs.
Daughter's dogs.
Yeah.
I don't remember, man.
Bob. Uncle Bob.
Bob
and Judy. Yeah. Which we're going to go out and see soon because my wife and I are heading out to Oklahoma in a couple of weeks to see Austin, our son, and we always stay in Albuquerque for the night with Bob and Judy. So anyway.
Bob and Judy.
Do you have any big travel plans coming up, David?
Not right now. I've been watching cheap deals on Vegas on YouTube, so I know all the places to go for hot dog and beer and all that stuff. So
how about you, Brian? You have any travel plans coming up?
My wife and I are doing like a little staycation at a casino here in a few weeks, just because golf course will be closed for reseeding, and she'll have a week off. And to be honest, if I don't take another break, I will lose my brain here in a couple weeks anyway. So right in time. So that's about all I got coming up that I know of.
We like I said, we're going to Oklahoma. That's kind of a stretch for us right now because of our family situation. Jenny's parents are in great need of pretty constant monitoring and care. They're in a group home, which does most of that, but we still need to be there frequently for things. So this is probably the last time we'll be able to do this trip unless they are promoted to even more severe care, in which case they don't need us to be there as often, if that makes sense.
Right.
Or they don't need care at all anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. So anyway, our big travel plans that we keep talking about, we still want to go back to Europe and see some more stuff there. We've talked about going to Ireland and these other bigger trips, but all of that's been on hold for a while. So we were just talking about that the other day. Starting to plan one of those trips, and not necessarily the date, but just what we would do and how that would look. So,
are you going to Ireland to trace your roots?
My sisters all have gone back there, and they've done a lot of that. So yeah, I think that would be the big draw. If we went to Ireland, that's something I would want to definitely do. I mean, probably go to Dublin and experience that part of it too. But really, the big draw for me would be to go back and find out. Okay, here's some of the places of my heritage.
Yeah,
there. That's what we did in Europe with Jenny's family in Sweden and Denmark and such. But anyway, that's it.
That's cool.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, beautiful Ireland.
Yeah.
Green. We don't have much green around here.
No, not in Arizona. That's for sure.
Oh.
And no time soon, with it being 111.
Oh no.
What is today? We're talking. It's September late. And it's still 110.
Breaking records.
But that's why we live here.
It is just after 10. We've been on for about an hour, so it's time to wrap up. But I just wanted to say thank you, David, for joining us. I know that was
it's good to see you, David.
Thank you for
that was a great surprise to see David again.
Okay. You're a good liar. No, I'm just kidding.
We're gonna wrap up right now. Everybody have a good week, and we will see you next week. And we'll may or may not have a surprise guest.
We'll see.
See you guys.
Right, take care.